At 45 years old, Marsau's life took a turn that no one saw coming. News broke that he had been arrested by the FBI, and almost immediately, shockwaves ran across the internet. The arrest wasn't just a headline, it was a moment that shook his family, his fans, and his community. People who had followed his journey for years suddenly found themselves grappling with disbelief. This wasn't just any situation, it was federal, serious, and deeply personal. And while the arrest itself stunned everyone, what happened after is what left people speechless. His wife, Leticia, went live in tears, pleading for his release, begging for mercy, and sharing her heartbreak with the world. That live stream became a raw, unforgettable moment that captured the attention of millions. As the details surrounding Marsau's arrest began to slowly unfold, it was clear this was not something that happened overnight. Reports suggest that the FBI had been keeping a close eye on him for months. This wasn't an impulsive action. It was the result of long-term monitoring, gathering evidence, and putting together a case that authorities felt was strong enough to move forward with. While fans on social media were scrambling to understand what exactly had led to this shocking turn of events, investigators already had their timeline, their documents, and their plan. This is what made the arrest so dramatic. It felt sudden to the public, but in reality, it had been building quietly in the background for quite some time. For Leticia, though, none of that mattered in the moment. All she knew was that her husband had been taken away, and she couldn't hold back the emotions. Going live on social media, she allowed people to see her at her most vulnerable. Her tears, her trembling voice, and her desperate words showed the world just how real and painful this was for her. She wasn't just a wife dealing with private grief. She was a public figure, living out her heartbreak in front of millions. That live stream, raw and emotional, spread across platforms within minutes. People replayed it, shared it, and commented on it, offering both support and criticism. The reactions to Leticia's live broadcast were intense. On one hand, thousands of fans flooded her comments with love and prayers. They rallied around her, expressing support and sharing their own experiences with pain and uncertainty. Many people connected with her transparency, saying that her tears made them feel her pain in a way they never had before. On the other hand, critics argued that going live during such a moment could complicate the situation. Some questioned if broadcasting her emotions publicly was the right decision, especially during an ongoing federal investigation. Yet even with those debates, no one could deny the impact of her words. She made people feel the weight of the moment, and that alone turned this case from a legal matter into a deeply human story. What stands out most about this arrest is the role of timing. Federal authorities rarely act without a plan. Sources have hinted that months of surveillance, evidence gathering, and strategy went into this operation. Investigators reportedly looked into financial records, communications, and personal dealings long before the arrest happened. This level of preparation shows that what appeared sudden to the public was in fact carefully built behind the scenes. And that raises an important question: why now? Why did the FBI choose this exact moment to make their move? While the specifics remain sealed, it's clear that authorities acted when they believed their case was ready, and when they felt they had enough evidence to take Marsau into custody without hesitation. The shock of the arrest spread like wildfire online. Fans who had followed Marsau for years couldn't believe what they were hearing. Social media timelines were filled with disbelief, speculation, and worry. Every small detail was discussed, debated, and dissected. And through it all, Leticia's emotional plea kept surfacing as the most powerful moment in the story. Her vulnerability turned this case from news into a shared experience, making people feel like they were living it alongside her. It wasn't just about Marsau being arrested, it was about a wife begging for her husband's freedom, about a family in crisis, and about a community struggling to process it all. From a legal perspective, though, the FBI's involvement means that the situation is extremely serious. Federal investigations are not simple. They involve multiple agencies, extensive resources, and a level of planning that goes far beyond local arrests. Once the FBI steps in, it's because they believe there's evidence of something major, whether financial crimes, organized activity, or other federal violations. And while details remain limited, the fact that Marsau's case reached this level shows the gravity of the accusations. It also means that the legal road ahead will be long, complex, and filled with challenges. Despite the seriousness of the situation, the human side cannot be overlooked. Marsau's arrest is not just about paperwork and investigations, it's about real people and real emotions. For Leticia, this isn't just about public perception, it's about her marriage, her family, and her future. Her live stream wasn't a performance, it was a cry for help. And for fans watching, it wasn't just content, it was a reminder of how quickly life can change. In just a matter of hours, a man who appeared successful and in control was suddenly in custody, and his wife was left to pick up the pieces in front of the world. As the story unfolded, online communities mobilized. Supporters created hashtags, organized campaigns, and shared messages of encouragement. Some fans even offered legal resources, trying to connect Leticia with attorneys or advocacy groups. The response showed the power of digital communities to rally in moments of crisis. Yet, along with support came controversy. Some people worried that public campaigns might put more pressure on the legal process or complicate things for Marsau. Others debated whether emotional live streams could influence public perception in ways that might not align with the facts of the case. These conversations added another layer of complexity, making the situation not just legal and emotional, but also social. While all of this played out, insiders hinted that the arrest was just the beginning. There may be more evidence, more developments, and more revelations to come. For fans and followers, this meant the story was far from over. Every new update could change the narrative, and every statement from Leticia or Marsau's family could shift public perception yet again. The uncertainty kept people glued to their screens, waiting for the next chapter. The potential outcomes of this case vary. If the FBI presents strong evidence, Marsau could face formal charges that lead to pre-trial hearings and possibly even a trial. Federal cases are known for being thorough, with every piece of evidence carefully reviewed. On the other hand, his defense team will likely work hard to challenge every part of the case, looking for errors, inconsistencies, or opportunities for negotiation. Plea deals, delays, or other legal maneuvers are all possible. But no matter what happens, the process will be long and filled with uncertainty. For Leticia, the road ahead is equally difficult. She must balance being a supportive wife with the reality of public scrutiny. Every move she makes will be watched, every word she says will be analyzed. Her emotional live stream showed her humanity, but it also placed her in the middle of a very public storm. Managing that balance, between honesty and strategy, between private grief and public presence, will be one of the hardest parts of her journey. Beyond the legal and emotional aspects, this story also raises bigger questions about resilience and the power of community. Fans have seen celebrities face scandals before, but few moments have felt this raw and this personal. Leticia's willingness to show her pain reminded people of the human side of public figures. It made many reflect on their own lives, their own struggles, and the importance of support during hard times. In that way, this story is not just about an arrest, it's about how people come together, how they cope with crisis, and how they keep moving forward even when everything feels uncertain. Even though much of the focus is on Marsau's arrest and Leticia's reaction, the ripple effects go beyond just them. Their family, friends, and community are all impacted. Children, relatives, and close friends are suddenly pulled into a situation they didn't ask for, dealing with the consequences of actions and events beyond their control. This human element is what makes the story resonate so deeply. It's not just about one man and his legal troubles, it's about an entire circle of people whose lives are forever changed. As the days go on, one thing is clear, this story is far from over. More details will surface, more emotions will be shared, and more conversations will be sparked. Fans will continue to follow every update, analyzing, debating, and supporting as they wait for answers. And through it all, the image of Leticia crying live, begging for her husband's release, will remain one of the most unforgettable parts of this entire ordeal. This is not just about legalities, it's about love, pain, and the fight for a future that feels uncertain. At 45 years old, Marsau is facing one of the hardest challenges of his life, and his family is right there with him, carrying the weight of the situation. What happens next could redefine everything they thought they knew about their lives, their future, and their place in the public eye. And while the world watches, they must find a way to endure, to survive, and to keep going.